Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel, Spiritual Teens. I just needed a change of scenery today, y'all, so I decided to come out in this beautiful weather and record this video out here. But let me ask y'all a question. What do you do and how do you push when you don't feel like pushing anymore? That's a tough question because, and I'm going to be honest, a lot of times in my life, I have definitely been there, ladies and gents. As a matter of fact, I've been there most recently in the last 6 months, in the last 12 months, in the last 2 years, I have been there. Okay, so in the last 2 years, I'm going to just be real transparent with you. One of the things that taught me how to push was being a life insurance agent. And when I say I'm being a life insurance agent, I'm not being one that is W-2 with a base pay plus commission. I was 100% commission. So if I didn't get up and get busy, that means that I did not bring in an income. Okay, so there were days that I didn't make a sale. And there were days that I cried. There were weeks that I didn't bring in income, where I worked hard, where I worked 30, 40, 50 hours in that week and didn't bring in no money. But yet and still kept pushing. So I know a little bit about what it takes to have that perseverance to keep going when you don't feel like it. You know what I mean? So you've got to keep going. The thing about life insurance was a lot of times you don't see the instant success that you want to see. And a lot of times that's what stops people from keeping the push because you don't see the results and you don't see the instant success that you want to see, so you just stop. But you've got to know that there is something greater on the other side of the pain that you are feeling. So you've got to keep going. That lack of that immediate gratification, it makes you stop. You don't feel like it because you don't see the results right away. And when you stop, that creates a lack of consistency. So if you don't keep going, you become inconsistent. And so, of course, you're not going to see the results that you want to see. So how do you keep going? How do you keep going when everything does not look the way that it should go? How do you keep going when you just don't feel like getting up in the morning? How do you just keep going? You know what I do? I do it anyway. Sometimes you just got to get up and you've got to train your mind to do the things that you just don't want to do anyway. And that's what I do. I mean, there are things that we do every day. Like we get up and we brush our teeth every day, I would hope. We get up and we take a shower every single day, I would hope. And we trained our minds to do those things anyway. So the things that we don't want to do, we have to do them anyway. They say the most successful people in life are those who do the things that they don't want to do, but they do them anyway. And you just, every day, you also, how do you push forward is you become a new version of yourself. Every single day that you do the things that you don't want to do, you become a new version of yourself. Because that old version of yourself would still be doing those things that the old version of yourself would still be doing the things that would keep you stuck in a cycle. But every day that you make the decision and change and do something different, you're creating that new version of yourself that is doing the things that you want to do, that's leading you to that path of success. And the key is to take small steps every day. You got to take small steps. In my 20s and my 30s, especially in my 20s and my 30s, I would go on a diet and I'd be like, I'm going to lose 100 pounds in 3 weeks. Well, not necessarily 100 pounds. I wasn't 100 pounds overweight, but you get the example. Or, I'm going to cut out this week or try to cut out 7 or 8 things at one time. And you can't do that if you want to be successful at it. You got to start small. So start with the small things. Start with getting up 10 minutes earlier. Start with, if you're going to commit to writing affirmations, start with writing those affirmations every day. Start with saying nice things to yourself every day, but you've got to start somewhere. And then pick something that scares you. You got to pick something that scares you because things that keep you in your comfort zone are just going to keep you comfortable. And I'll say it again. Things in your comfort zone are just going to keep you comfortable. So you've got to pick something that scares you. At one point, when I started my affirmations, the thought of having $1 million would scare me. You know what I mean? Like it was just scary to me. Now, it's just part of my affirmations. I'm a millionaire. That doesn't scare me anymore to become a millionaire. So you've got to pick something that scares you. So now that dollar figure for me is a little bit higher. And if I can be honest, creating these YouTube videos for me has been a little scary. But here I am and I'm doing it anyway. So those are the things that I'm talking about. You've got to pick something that you're afraid of because your future self is depending and relying on you. Your future self is depending and relying on you to do something greater and to become something greater. And you're never going to know what's on the other side of that thing that scares you until you try it. You never know if you are going to enjoy riding roller coasters if you never get on one, right? Some people are afraid of them, and then when they get them, they're like, "Oh, I love them, I love them." It's the same thing. Because the greater version of you is always on the other side of your fear. And the most important thing, and I say this all the time, is you've got to fix how you talk to yourself when you're by yourself. Because our bodies are energy. Our bodies are energy, and even if you're not saying it out loud, if you're thinking those thoughts, your subconscious mind is only going to create the things that you think. So you've got to fix how you talk about yourself when you're by yourself and how you think about yourself when you're by yourself. Because you can take all the right actions. You can take all the right actions to do all the right things. You can pray, you can meditate, you can affirm. But when you're by yourself, what is it that you're saying about yourself the most? Because your life, when you look around it, your life as you see it is going to be the sum total of the things that you've been thinking about yourself. Okay? You could take all the right actions on the outside, but if you talk destructive to yourself, it nullifies your actions. I just said that in a whole nother way. It just nullifies. So the person you become starts with how you talk to the person you are. Even if you don't like your life right now, even if you don't like the way things are going right now, you have got to talk to yourself better. You got to say, I look at myself every day like, damn, girl, you look good. I know that you're in your 50s, but you look so freaking good. I say to myself all the time, I don't care what my bank account says. I say, you know what? I'm wealthy. I'm healthy. I'm abundant. Ooh, wee. I know that a change is coming. That's how I talk to myself. And I'm nice to myself. Because if you say things to yourself like I'm stupid, I don't matter, and nothing's going to work out for me, guess what? The universe is going to give you more of those things that don't work out for you. It's going to give you more of instances where you're not going to want to love yourself, or you're not going to want to be yourself. So you got to watch how you talk to yourself. And I know that's a lot. That's a lot to take in, especially when you don't feel like doing the things that you don't want to do. But those are the things that are going to help you do those things. Because here's the deal. Time is going to go by whether you want it to or not. So do you want to look up 6 months from now and regret the fact that you did not do the things that you wanted to do? Or are you just going to get busy and take action and just do those things and see what the result will be, good or bad? Because it's not so much about the result that you get. Yeah, we like to see those results, but it's also about the journey and the things and the lessons that you learn along the way. So, don't give up. And if you like this message, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And until the next message, be the best version of you that you can be.